Welcome back, everybody. So this is the overclocking build-off video. I stepped out of the retro end of this. There's a few reasons why. One, there's a lot of people out there doing this. Two, I don't know how many people actually don't realize how hard it is to get these old retro machines going. There's a lot of stuff you have to look at. Corroded batteries, Dallas clock chips, drivers, software. Hardware actually working is going to be your hardest thing. Recapping. So there's a lot into it. I don't really have the time to keep going retro. I love the retro machines. I will still fix them up. I will still make videos about this. But the original system I was going to use was the QDI motherboard. It did not have the function to actually overclock. You could only overclock by 0.5%. To me, that's not really overclocking. That's just turning off the turbo button. I mean, there's nothing to that. So, I got rid of it. I hate to say it, but I'm not going to do that. To me, that is not overclocking. Overclocking, to me, is where you are actually trying to push the limits of the graphics card, the CPU, the memory. That is what I'm trying to do with this. This is an MSI X58 Pro-E motherboard. I do have a Core i7. Sorry about the camera bumpage there. We are running 3-channel, triple channel, DDR3, 12 gigabytes of that. Currently, we have the DRAM frequency of 400 megahertz. I know I can push this a little bit faster on there. The graphics card, as you can see, is an EVGA 580. I did a short about that one. This was actually a top-end card back in its day. It was almost like $500 or something like that. I don't remember. The total draw on it is 244 watts. And we got a 430 watt EVGA power supply. If you remember my last short, the power supply before that decided to throw sparks. And if you pay attention very closely in the beginning of that short, you'll actually see the orange glow here and the lights dim inside my shed. Yes, I did need an adult beverage after that. That was something. Before I shot that short, it was 3 times louder than Rice Krispies Snap, Crackle, Pop. That was something. It was louder than fireworks going off on you. Back to this computer. So Core i7 920. I will focus over here a little bit better for you, so we can see what I'm seeing. Hopefully that shows up on the big screen. Socket 1366. I do have a couple processors, a couple Xeons I could toss in here, but I'm just going to focus on the i7 currently. It's a 4-core, 8 threads, still a really good processor even for today. Max TDP is 130 watts. Bloomfield, that was the code name. And bus speed, we're currently at 133.66 megahertz. QPI link is set at 2405.88 megahertz. Core speed, right as this moment, is 1603.98 megahertz. So it's doing really good, and this is a PCI Express 2.0 graphics card and motherboard. I wanted to make sure that I matched these as close as I could. I could throw my GTX 750 Ti in there, but I wanted to go a little bit older in here. I do have a few other cards that I could use in here, the 9600 GTO, GTX, and something else, I forget. or GSO, I think is what it was. Anyway, and as you can see, this is our result here, 19,230 3D marks. This is before any overclocking has been done. I will go ahead and enter into the BIOS here, as I remember which button I need to click, and I told it to turn off. So luckily we have the handy little switch over here. Turn this back on. So far we might have success here. Okay, set at 4.2, and yes, so we should be okay. And I will rerun the 3D Mark 06 and see what our score might jump to. That boots up pretty quick now. And see if we lock this computer up. Which I kind of think we might. So, let's see what we get. And we'll be back with the end result. The next run is actually pretty impressive. We went from 19,000 to 27,000. Almost $8,000, or yeah, $8,000. 8,000 point difference here. So, I wonder how much further we can push this system. And for the most part, the only one that really suffered was the CPU score, the Red Valley. CPU 1 was 2.36 frames per second. CPU 2 Red Valley was 3.317 frames per second. Other than that, everything else ran great. We had 87.4 frames, 88, 171, 114. So this is quite an improvement here. Just bumping it up quite a bit, to be honest. And mind you, I believe we are seeing the turbo clock kick in whenever it's really kicking up, because we're still showing right here at 2.67 gigahertz, but the QPI, we are showing 3600. Let's see how the CPU bench holds up. Looks like we're hanging in there about 1800 for our multi-thread. Looks like 380, 381. Probably gonna pause about 380. Oh, 381. So doing pretty good there. As compared to like a 3950X, yeah, nothing. Not even close. Even the Threadripper is going to walk all over this thing. So, compared to the new generation, the 12900K, still a big difference there. Now mind you, this is a first gen i7. Now we're sitting right about on par, roughly, with the i5 7600K. 4 core, 4 thread. And of course against the AMD A10, the 7850K APU. I actually have one of those. It's quite interesting. So, not a bad setup right now. Still a very decent system. And this right now, I think I pretty much got everything tuned in here a little bit. So I'm thinking we're doing all right. But let's see if we can bump a few more out of it. See, I didn't like 225, so let's split the difference about 210. Make sure we're there. If I bump the memory core up with better memory, I would be able to go quite a bit quicker. But we can see here our current core frequency is 4 gigahertz, 200 times 20. DRAM frequency is 1200 megahertz. Now, if I remember right, that's about where that RAM is stuck out. Current QPI frequency is 4.8. So we're really pushing this one at this point. That's what the CPU is designed to run at. So we'll save, exit, and see if it does the power off cycle and wants me to clear the CMOS. So far we're looking alright. Here we go, 4.2. So, I guess we will run another 3D Mark 06. Again, I will bring it up to it and let you see the settings are identical as the last two runs. And we'll run the benchmark and come right back to it. Well guys, I think that is as hard as I'm going to push the CPU on here. We're sitting at 28,881. And right now I have a really bad sinus infection and it's kicking my rear. So, on that note, this is my entry into it. A little bit of me rambling on some of my philosophies behind this. So, I hope you enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed this a little bit more. Able to push this thing a little bit harder. And plus with Windows 7 on here, I mean, everything just works with this kind of hardware. I did not activate this one, but it is a legit copy here. As we can all see. And this actually has both versions of 64 and 32. So a very handy copy here. So that's, yeah, like I said, this was fun. This was great. It actually probably turned out better than that QDI system I was trying to use. Eventually, yes, I will revisit the Socket 370. But for now, I got about 10 other computers I gotta go through. that I've gotten in the last 2 weeks. So there's a lot of work to be done, a lot of videos to shoot. So probably going to be focusing on that for a while and just doing me. And move on. So, that being said, hopefully all the competitors out there had a great time doing this. I know I did. Just be yourself. That's all I can say. Be you. And take care, stay safe, and watch out for those idiots.